My name is Whitney Tyler, and for my video presentation, I'm going to be talking about reciprocal teaching. A little bit about reciprocal style teaching. Students typically work in pairs and give each other feedback. Teacher facilitates the lesson and gives feedback. Some benefits are individualized learning, immediate feedback, continuous collection of data, and time spent in two domains, cognitive and psychomotor. What it looks like in an elementary school: the stations could be set up in missions, and there could be different the targets could be different supervillains, and the students could be the superheroes for the lesson, and they would be encouraged to hit the targets and mark off the villains that they hit. This would be more game focused. This would be the more game focused way to go about it, but you could easily switch it to where they mark off the skill cues. You could have it to where they could color in the skill cues that they're doing, or you could have the stations set up for each skill cue and have them color in the different body parts that they may be using or different muscles that they may be using, but I thought this would be the easiest way to go about it, especially for elementary. Task cards with pictures for each station with a specific skill or skill cue. Students take turns performing the skill with their partner, marking off the tasks that are completed. In this case, it would be the villains. For the middle school, you would shift a little bit more toward the skill focus to keep the kids, you want to work on the skill throughout every level, but for elementary, to keep them focused, you kind of need to give them that motivation of a mission or a game. So in this instance, they're a little bit grown up. So instead of the game focus, like in elementary, you can focus more on the skill. Students will still be in pairs, and the task sheet would be of the skill cues needed to accomplish. They would be responsible for taking this information and trying to teach their partner the skill. They would be given a video. It could be a brand new skill, or it could be an extension of a skill that they've already learned. This would be a little bit more challenging because they would have to teach their peer or their partner the skill. The teacher would still be there to facilitate the lesson and give feedback on form and maybe some tips, but the students should be encouraged to be creative and to be the teachers. At the high school level, hopefully that they have learned the basic skills of soccer. If not, any of these examples can be made easier or more difficult depending on the overall skill of the class. But task sheets is a big thing in reciprocal teaching. That's just the easiest way to give your students a visual representation of what you want them to do, and an easier way for them to keep up with what they need to do. Checklist is also, but that's a different style, so they kind of can go hand in hand. This can focus on dribbling, passing at farther distances, goal shots, or there can be more fundamental stations. Like I said, it could be made a little bit easier. On the task sheets for this level, students could have to complete a certain number of repetitions or different mini challenges. These stations could be made, like I said, as difficult or easy as possible. Along with the skills and challenges to mark off, students could be required to give a piece of positive feedback or a piece of constructive criticism. This could kind of hit on the affective domain as well, because in high school you kind of need to be hitting on the affective as well, which is true for all grades, but it's the easiest, I think, for in high school to hit on that affective. A video demonstration. This is actually a video from our methods class. This group did a phenomenal job of teaching a lesson with reciprocal teaching. We're just going to watch a little bit of it. I'll just let it play and then I'll explain a little bit about it.
Alright, I need the other partner to come up and grab a piece of paper. Thank you. Okay, everyone go back to the next one. On this paper, everyone will look at the paper for me. It has cues on how to perform the
Here she's just giving a brief discussion about, or description of what's on the paper. No demonstration, that's
target here.
more command style.
You're going to go to the far one over here. Then Whitney, person over there.
Now this is not a typical class. This was a college class, but
10, 9,
focus on the
8,
style.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, I need Whitney. Can you go get a pencil for your group?
I'm gonna fast forward just a little bit.
Kaylin, go get a pen or pencil. 4, 3, 2.5. And you guys are going to practice both throws. So one partner is going to hold the 5 cues. So what do you think
She's
that means
giving
when I say
safety
partner
instructions, things like that.
And you're
These
gonna
things
walk
do not
back.
need to be skipped in
Okay?
reciprocal
So,
teaching, by no means.
Don't go too slow, but still focus on the cues because we want to make sure we're not going to injure ourselves when we throw. There's little strips. That's where you're going to stand.
Let me play it again.
Practice your throws. Your partner, you need to stand. Does that make sense? So if you were watching your partner, where are you standing? Behind. Good. Okay.
So that was the part where she's just giving instructions. No, she didn't demonstrate the skill. It was a brand new skill, which we were in college, but if she were doing this, she just handed us the sheet, and on the sheet it had a picture of the skills that we needed. It had a list of everything, all the skill cues, and we just had to check off which ones we needed to do. The students were in pairs. We each had to give feedback to our partner and motivate them throughout the lesson. Here are some assessment examples for reciprocal teaching. This could be used in any kind of teaching for physical education. This has a couple of different sports that you can see. It has a student and a peer, and then the teacher can also put their grades on here too. So this has several slots. So you can have your own, you can have the skill cues up here, you can have the missions up here, and you can have the same things right here. You can put anything in these different sections here, these columns and rows. And also you can have your own code system if you would like to do that. I just liked this one because it had the athletic stance, weight transfer, apply force or absorb force, follow through, and ready to move for the next repetition. I liked this one as well. It had images. I think this one could be used for an elementary because it's kind of fun looking. It's real simple. And there's a lot of words, but upper elementary, this would be a piece of cake. But for lower elementary, you could easily dumb these down. Well, not dumb these down, but shorten these up to, short words that, like the skill cues. They have visual representations of everything that they need to do. And it says circle if you got it and circle if you need to work on it. I like how it says, did you do it or did you not do it? Because that's kind of takes away from, their motivation, and it takes away from their self-confidence. So now it says, you got it or are you still working on it? So I kind of like that. But that was my video about reciprocal teaching, and I hope you enjoyed it.